Welcome back, guys, to the channel. My name's Mark McNasty, and over here we have Gar Spray. I don't know if he wants me to name drop. You want me to name drop?
Yeah, my name's Colton Shields. I got fifth at the side deck remote regional on June 9th.
Cool deal. And this also got you your invite too, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, I get an invite and the Promethean Princess mat.
Nice, nice. And out of curiosity, what's the helmet for?
So I did play tenpai, so I made sure to strap on my helmet really tight today. And I went 7-1 out of 8 rounds. So
Alright, that's cool. How many people was there, by the way?
there were 200 participants. So it was top 32 was got invites.
Nice, nice. Okay, cool. If you want to, we can go to get into this.
All right. So starting off pretty standard. Two Fadra, three Pydra, three Chandra, three Kaiman, and three summoning, and then a terraforming.
Oh,
Now something that deviates a little bit more is I am playing set rotation, but I'm playing a target that nobody knows what it does, multi-universe. So
what the
this is
hell?
for
What does
playing
this
through
do?
Ogre after you droplet. This card is kind of spicy. It did come up against Voiceless. It forced the Radiance to pop something that wasn't my field spell, so it kept me in the game for an extra turn. It was kind of nice. Um, the reason this card is good and the reason I decided to play it is because it doesn't do anything. When I give my opponent this, it does nothing, which is why it's good. I don't have to care about my opponent flipping this and searching a Fenrir or flipping a Necro Valley and cutting off my follow-up from Fadra. I just give them something that doesn't matter. And it's also good in the Cosmic. If you just kind of have this or Terraforming, you can just sort of get back your one from Banish, and your opponent just wasted 1,000 life points, and now they can't Ogre it either. So pretty good. Same with
Out of
like SP,
curiosity, does the is the
just brings
effect
it back.
relevant at all, or just like for you at least, or does it just literally do
Um,
nothing?
the grave effect is relevant. So it has like a Hugin type effect where if it's in grave, it can banish itself to replace the destruction of your field spell, which is
Huh.
pretty nice. And that again, that came up because it's like people don't play into it because they know how to just protect. So I did have a voiceless player that tried to radiance, uh, and they didn't go for field spell, but they instead went for a Chandra, which I just played through because I needed the field spell to trident and kill them. So this being able to protect my field spell was really useful. It kept me in games that I was going into the grind with because people couldn't get rid of my field spell. So it was kind of nice. I mean, it's like it's a brick card, like it's a soft brick. You don't really want to see this, but I don't really want to see Necro Valley in my hand either. And honestly, the cash field spell is also not very good. Like it searches Fenrir and that's it.
That's fair
So
enough.
you don't really do anything else with it. So that's the engine. It's 14-1 cards, so deck is super consistent. You might notice that I am not playing Prosperity. I feel like that card is very redundant in this deck. Uh,
Interesting.
it's just not a fan of it. That's kind of my other spicy tech is that I never use that. I just open good because I'm good at Yu-Gi-Oh. That's kind of the gist of it.
Just
But
open better, bro.
yeah, the deck is consistent enough without it. Yeah, the deck is consistent enough without it. The half life point sucks. Can't play any other draw spells with it, which I guess you wouldn't ever. But like if you wanted to, you could play like Desires in this deck too, which is honestly probably what I would do over Prosperity in this list. Um, I don't know. I just don't run enough like hard board breakers in this to need Prosperities. Best card it would search is Fenrir, honestly, and I'm only playing two of that. There's also a bunch of stuff you can do. So spoiler
Interesting.
alert. But that's the engine. So we'll go into non-engine because everything else in this deck is non-engine. Uh, three Ash Blossom. It's three Ash Blossom. I don't know what you want. Three Veiler. This was great. I thought about doing two. I'm kind of glad I went with three. I decided out the third one a couple of times, but it's not that big a deal. Three Droll. This was actually very good. It came up a good chunk of times. Was it the best card in the deck? No, but it's fine. It's about as impactful as most of the other hand traps. So why not? And plus, if I went against Wombo Combo and I drop this, I kind of could just win the game. So that's nice. Two Mourner. This card was good. I did not miss a third one. Uh, 2 is perfect for me. I mean, it hits what it hits. As impactful as the rest of these. 2 Nib. This card was really insane. I thought I would see a lot more mirrors and voiceless, and I did see a couple. So these did get sided out twice for 2 matches. I mean, but every time other than that, I went to 3 of this card. So I might try to find a way to play 3 of this in the main. It's still really good. 2 Fenrir. This card's really good at breaking boards going second. It helps you going first because honestly, Seal's Pass is not a lot unless you can back it up with some other things. So this card helps with that. It's also
Um,
just free discard fodder for your field spell.
Fair enough. Out of curiosity, have you ever thought about playing the Rise Heart package with it?
I have. I don't think it's necessary. It's more consistency that's really, really fragile. Uh, just play prosperity if you're gonna do that. You could easily just put 1 prosperity. It's not
Fair
that
enough.
hard. If you really feel like you need consistency over 95%, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're either just insanely unlucky or you're not playing the deck properly. It's still consistent. Like I don't really brick often with this deck. Uh, some people do just draw really bad. Like sorry, but yeah, prosperity is not a hand trap or non-engine piece. Like all of these probably have more value than prosperity. So, or any other consistency piece you would ever want. Um, but Fenrir good. I don't think that's very surprising to people. 1 ogre, cross out target, which you'll see cross out later. It was fine. This card really is not very good. The biggest thing is it's defensive, like Bell, which isn't great in my opinion. Yeah, I can ogre SP. Yeah, Apo or IP. Cool. Other than that, this is not nearly impactful enough. Getting rid of bodies is sometimes good with this card. Not often is it good enough. It just feels not that great. 1 of is fine. I would maybe try to relegate this to the side and play more copies. I played 3 and cut it to 2 and eventually cut it to 1. It just is less impactful than all of these. I do think it's still important to have though. Now we'll get on to non-engine spells. 2 droplet. It's droplet. I honestly would maybe cut this for a third. I don't know, but 2 felt good. I don't really brick on it in multiples ever with this, so it's good. It's the only board breaker I really play because it's good. I mean, sometimes you don't like it because you don't have anything good to pitch with it. Sometimes you're going up against voiceless and they have an Omni Negate and you really love this card. So droplet. 1 called by Ashes. There are a lot of hand traps that are actually pretty good into this deck. So having a main deck answer is nice without having to like just hope that you see cross out and have a target in deck 2 and like there's a lot of things that can happen. This just negates. It's also just a good 6 card where cross out really isn't because it can hit graveyard effects. It's also good going first, kind of unlike cross out because it's interruption. So every time I drew this card, I'm pretty sure I won that game. So card good. 1 Duster. I felt it was important to have some kind of main deck answer to back row, so I just picked the single best one. There's a bit more in the side, just in case I saw something like Lab or Trap decks are a hard matchup for this, but they're just not popular. So 1 was fine. It was pretty good into a couple of decks. Voiceless is pretty good because like being able to get rid of their stuff, like just clearing the back row sometimes is very nice. So good card. Not super searchable, but whatever. I didn't need it that often. Um, and then for traps, 3 Imperv. This is just more hand traps. This card's really good. I don't know why you wouldn't kind of mix on these. So that is the main deck. Um, all very good. I did not feel like I was missing anything or wanted more numbers of something or wanted less numbers of something. I would kind of just play these ratios again. I'd maybe switch them up a little bit depending on exactly what I'm feeling like is good with non-engine, but I mean, other than really the 3rd nib, I don't really think I would care anything. We'll go to side next. The 3rd nib. I thought I would need 3 of this, and I was right. This will maybe get swapped with something. Kawaki Maru Drago. This card was very good. In theory. Against Voiceless, Ubel, Tier, cards like this are really good for going first since you just get it off of seals. It makes them waste their battle phase. You get another turn to try to kill your opponent. Um, but the one time I actually did do this against Voiceless player, they just impermed it. So it didn't come up at all, but it's come up before. I would not remove this card. on the spells and traps, because most of it is board breakers that I'm going to move in. Two Lightning Storm. This card is more back row hate. It's also just not terrible into stuff like Snake Eyes that really doesn't put up any negates on its board. You can kind of just clear the board a little bit to help you more easily break through it, or at least keep your main phase clear so that you can have it set up better for your battle phase. Three Cosmic. This card is pretty good. I honestly didn't see myself setting it a whole bunch. When I did, it was very, very clutch. And when I did see it, I very much needed it. So good card. Three of it. Play 3-speed dual secrets. Do not play rares like I am. I'm very poor and broke and lazy. I didn't get anything higher rarity.
Speed Duel
Um,
Secrets is a little insane.
I don't even know how much they are, but you should get speed dual secrets. They look really good, and I like speed dual. Three crossout designator, a little bit more hand trap stuff. This is also really only your real out to D barrier. People can play other floodgates, which you could technically side deck. I just felt like nobody was going to. Um, so yeah, good card. Plays through hand traps too, like the one of ogre. Like, so you know, very often I would just be like, okay, chain, and then I would resolve my thing, and that effect that I just got to resolve because of the crossout wins me the game. So good card, good defensive card. Three Heat Wave. This is for the mirror. And also just if decks make you go first, you can make them eat that. It is kind of high roll. I won't lie. Um, there's an argument to not play this, but every time I draw the card, I win the game. And if I brick on it, I brick on it. Whatever. I don't care. Seeing it when I'm going first wins me the game, so it's fine.
Out of curiosity, did
And
anybody ever
then
make
2D
you go?
barrier.
Oh, did
Go.
anybody ever make you go second?
Yeah, a good chunk of times actually.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, make me go second? Yeah, a good chunk. I was kind of, I'd say it was about 60-40 on what people picked. Um, Stuff like Snake. I played a salad guy. He wanted to go second because, he's got the Axis Code OTK thing going on. So, some decks are like, yeah, I'm still going second. I can push into seals and like some hand traps. And some decks are like, no, I'm going to go first. I'm going to play through our hand traps and I'm going to beat you. It's kind of player oriented, which is why I think this card is still very good. Because sometimes a player, you just see them and you see how they play and you go, okay, you seem like you would like to go first. So I'm gonna, or well, or no, you seem like you like to go second. So I'm gonna side these in and hope I see one and make you eat that. So I don't know. It's a good card. It is high roll. Like if you're want to play more conservatively, don't play this. But I'm, I don't care. I put my helmet on. Helmet good. Um, and then finally, 2D barrier. Cross out target plus if you play against voiceless or branded, this card's really good. So I mean, it's another going first tool. Uh, I would maybe play three if you can, but two was fine. That way I wasn't ever bricking on it or like seeing it late. Really, it's like if I open it, it's if opening a two of isn't that hard. Uh, like yeah, I could make it a little more consistent. Open it, but you could also play thrust because like I have things like thrust or duster in there. Technically, heat wave you get like shifter or something. I don't know if that would really
Well,
work, but
he waved with
no,
the first
just started
action,
me
right?
once, so this might work. Yeah, never mind. I don't know. There's not really a. I mean, you have a lightning storm, I guess. You'd probably want to play more targets if you have thrust, but thrust is good
Then
as
again,
guard. I don't own thrust, so I didn't play it.
if somebody's shiftering you, they're just wasting hand traps on you. To be honest.
Kinda. This deck can die to shifter. That's something you don't see in this. As I'm not playing shifter. Um, the deck really does need Fadra to kind of grind it all and also just extend through other hand traps. So shiftering does cut off what your opponent can do, but if your opponent does have something, it makes your combos a lot more fragile. If they do have the answer, you die to it harder, and if they don't have the answer, you we're probably going to win anyways. So it just seems like shifter is like other people's high roll card, where mine is heat wave. So because it's really only good going first, going second, you're yeah, you're shifting your opponent, but you're still playing underneath it too. So, it's not very good. Whereas, like, if you go first, you shifter, you don't care about it on your first turn because you don't even do anything. Your opponent plays under it, and then you don't play under it, which is great. So that's when shifter's good. But other than that, eh. I didn't really ever love the card in testing. So we'll move on to the extra deck. One Queen Belt. This is for annoying cards. Can't be destroyed battle or whatever. It's half decent in the mirror. It's a dragon, so you can make it after you bite it. It's cool. Never came up. A lot of this stuff will not come up. A lot of these are very situational, um, which is fine. I mean, you have a lot of extra space. You can play like super polys, whatever you want. It's like, extra deck. You really only have to play 5 of these cards, 6, I guess, because seals. But like that's it. A Meteor Burst. This is good in theory because it's a less committal 10 to not get ashed on your Kaimin, and it's also good in the mirror. I didn't summon it. I played the mirror once, didn't summon it. I didn't summon it before battle phases. I kind of was more concerned about killing my opponent because you have to just be able to make this in main phase before you use Chandra. As often I was only able to make this in battle phase if I wanted to make it to let my Kaiman resolve, but then my Kaiman didn't do enough to win me the game because I didn't have enough gas after I made this because it's not a tuner. Uh, well, you can't use a 3 in this to make like a 10. So this kind of just stays there. Samurai Destroyer. This card's very good. This is the one I actually made in the mirror because I used it to negate Transcendent, which was awesome. I didn't care about taking 400 damage. I got to win the game off that. This card's also really good into U-Bell. If your opponent's trying to super poly you a lot, maybe something like Branded, this card is good. You have to make it before you bite it, but that's fine. It's normally to get rid of some kind of stupid threat, sort of like Queen Belt, but it is a little better. It's also not respondable, so if they're trying to do shenanigans with Droplet, like they have it or something, uh, you can just use this and they can't Droplet, which is awesome. Or at least not in damage steps. They can't protect their Droplet as easy. One Black Rose, mandatory, didn't make it. Uh, Cute idea. It's always good to like, wipe the board. But Nib normally did that, so it's cool. One Ruddy. This is good. I mean, you can make it. Didn't come up today, but I've made like all of these before. They are all good when they come up. They just don't come up that often, but you should probably still play them. Uh, Now onto the actual engine that matters. Two Bidens. This is mandatory. This card's really, really, really good. Uh, Honestly, the biggest thing is that you can get around skill drain and other annoying spells and traps when you bring it back from grave. So once your engine's kind of rolling, even if it's not the turn you summon this or use this or whatever, you're not using this OTK, it still just helps you break boards in the battle phase, which is really important. One Transcendent. One was fine. There's a kind of a reason for 2, but maybe cut like Meteor Burst for the second one. It's very important to have this resolve. Protecting your battle phase is super important. Leaving this on field is super important. I almost never want to pop this with Trident because I want full battle phase protection. So good card. Its effect on summon to make everything go to attack didn't really come up. I made a guy swing a low into it and kill the low. That was cool, but that was it. Best friend, give me this thing. I actually own this, but yeah, the meme card. It's really good. You have to have it. Best way to pop the field spell and swing 6K a shit ton of times. Super important. Like, yeah, you play this card. You played it one. If they unicorn rip it, good for them. But I still have these 3 plus all of this stuff. So good for you. And then we'll get on to links. One Hita. It's really good into any fire deck. If you summon back the mirror, it's crazy. Snake Eyes, it's good because you make Princess. Princess is also very good. Grave Recursion. If you link it off into something, it comes back and is an interrupt. Like good card. And also because you link into this Ambler Whale. A lot of lists play Zelantis and Raging Phoenix and try to do that OTK if they get debarriered. I find myself almost never having enough bodies for that. If you play like 3 Nib, 3 Fenrir, and some Bestials, it's easier. Like you can build your deck to do that easier. Uh, but people normally don't see debarrier that consistently that it matters that much. Um, so I just make Ambler Whale. If it gets hit, you still get back your thing for Promethean. Plus, then it's another interrupt. Plus, it's an interrupt if you keep using Promethean in the grind game. Like, it comes up a lot, honestly. Like, people think this is like you either win or lose type of deck. But honestly, it does have some grind to it. Um, And if you do get stuck in a top deck situation, you need cards like this or you will lose instantly. So all of these are good. Then we have Striker Dragon and SP. This card does nothing. It just you link it off so that your SP gets the banish. This card's stupid. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh in the past 9 months since its release, you know this card is stupid. I made this a bunch today. Super glad I got it. Like, I'm borrowing this. This is really expensive, but it's $110 worth of cardboard for a reason. This card is insanely good. And then the last one, Seals. Hey, your best friend. This card is also really, really strong for a Link 2. You just kind of make it with two dragons. It outs a lot of stuff. Another out to skill drain. Another stupid floodgates you don't like because it's not on field. Um, it's a good card. Uh, the summon is crazy. If you resolve it, you're basically just getting all your stuff, basically getting back what you put into it. Plus, you got a bounce, so you're just kind of +1. Like it's just good. So yeah, but that's the deck profile. Super happy with the list. I tested a lot of the Ultimate Zolkin, Crystal Wing, AFD stuff. I feel like it's good when you play decks that don't run hand traps, but decks that don't run hand traps are not very popular. And you kind of just have a decent branded matchup anyway, since it's the most likely thing you would ever see. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with this deck. Um, I don't disagree with all of it, uh, but this is just worked for me. So 7-1 worked for me. Maybe it'll click for you. Try it out. Strap your helmet on, buddy.
You got any shout outs real quick before we end this thing up?
Um, Shout out to my testing partner Etienne. He's been kind of my mentor for a while with Yu-Gi-Oh. So shout out to him and Henry too. Bunch of all my guys from locals, Jack, Austin, Bradley, Hayden, like so many people that just play with all the time, make me way better. And shout out to my opponents, honestly. A lot of them are really good sports. And also because they helped me get my score, so they didn't do very badly, which was nice. Even some of my earlier rounds where I saw later on at the top table, so good for them. Excited about that. Yeah, regional was fun.
All right, cool deal. All right, thank you very much, Colton. Yeah, Merc McNasty. That's all we got for y'all.